Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ. And yes, today is the day of sock and underwear replacement. It is, of course, it is the gift giving season. We're coming close to Christmas. And I thought, well, of course, we have to use this for some mental fuel top off on it as we head into the holiday season, and knowing that there's going to be a relatively short break on the channel. But yes, today is the day of strange gifts. And I thought, of course, on this channel, of course, we always take it down into something dark and mysterious and deep and quite a bit Lovecraftian at times. But I thought we would make this part of the our prompt for the day. So for those who do not know, the day of series is we take one or a few words, we take it as a prompt, we take it and then we dismantle it and build it back up and discover something maybe we hadn't thought of, and then we can use it for our tabletop role-playing setting. And the idea of the day of is that we could insert this into our setting, and if we don't like it, so what? It's a day, players move on, we move on, we're done with it. But if we like it, we can keep it around. This could be an actual day, like a festival, a predicted event that could happen, or this could just happen to be random. And so, of course, on this day of, our players awaken to find themselves each with a strange gift. And the question would be, are these strange gifts given just to the players? Is this something that happens in a large community? Maybe the players are at an encampment, they awaken with strange gifts, and as they head towards the city state, they find that other people are amazed at the small, rather innocuous strange gifts, but they don't have to be. One question would be, how are the gifts given to them? Are they wrapped up with a little bow on top with their name on it? Is it in their backpack and they just find it in a pocket or something like that? Or is it one or more fey creatures or a ghost or other being, a rakshasa or something like that, happens to walk by and hand each of the players something special and walks off and turns a corner and disappears or something? So how do they receive these things, and how do they know it belongs to them? And where do the gifts come from? Pulled out of nowhere? Was pulled from a bag of holding and it just happens to be at the bottom or something like that? Did it appear in a dream, and then when they awoken from their dream, it appeared next to them? Or is this at a bazaar or something? The PCs come into a town and there are stalls, but no one's exchanging money. Person walks up to the stall, and then the proprietor just happens to go in the back, comes back with a thing and says, "This belongs to you," and is given to them. So the mystery is, where do the gifts come from? What are the gifts themselves? Is it, do the gifts do anything, or is it like a hat or a scarf or a glove or a medallion or something? And how does it impact our storyline? It could be very minor. Maybe maybe it is expected for people to wear or use or acknowledge that they have the gift for this day. And if the PCs are like, what is this, a carved cow? And they toss it over their shoulder, and then all of a sudden bad things start happening to them. Is it important for the players to find who it is that the gift belongs to? Could be a little bit of a mystery, a little tracking down investigation, and further on. But honestly, let's go to see what our co-hosts have to say, especially when it comes to sock and underwear replacement. Because maybe the barbarian's like, yeah, I swing my battle axe and I wear my loincloth, but every once in a while I get a lot of holes in my stuff. Oh man, yeah, I like what N King had to say here. And I have thought about what you said about the obsidian star thing, but N King says, in a way, that could be a strange gift, Lovecraftian cosmic knowledge, referring to sacrifice of people. But a gift doesn't necessarily need to be physical. It could be a gift of knowledge, a gift of awareness, especially if it's a movie like They Live or something where you're like, I get to see all the dead people or the aliens or something like that. Hey, shit lords, what's going on? Yeah, the day of experiencing madness, gift experiences. Yeah, the tree's got like eight. Des, what's going on? Hey, what's up? Yeah, the tree's got like eight sets of lights on it or something, and I happen to be a person who grew up with twinkle lights because they were very rare. So yeah, there's like, I don't know, at least four sets of patterned lights that are all random or something. So yeah. Uh, she says, Mars homeworld. Okay, okay. A horrible sight. We are all doomed tonight wandering in an old one's wonderland. It must be night where you're located. It is very early in the morning on my side of the world. But yes, it you know, the gifts could be a bit of an omen, like here's something nice for you because the rest of your night's going to be horrible. hold on to this hold on to this little small droplet of goodness because later on, yeah, I mean that almost sounds like a more modern day serial killer thing, like like the playing of a, a joyous song before the serial killer murder kills or something like that. That could be it. The Yen King, a strange gift. Boots enchanted with water walking, but only when nobody is wearing them. Oh, I had a friend of mine do like some dumb shit like that, like cursed items. It was so dumb. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of one that was really silly. It was like it was something like it was like a plain bowl and spoon, and you could eat gruel out of it that would nu- give you nutrients, but no one could watch you eat. So you always had to like hide around a corner or turn your back or so. It was something really bizarre. Because if somebody tapped you on the shoulder and looked over and see what you were doing, it would just disappear. It wouldn't have any effect. It was like, damn it, leave me alone. Oh, I love little cursed items, even though we don't see those anymore. Yeah, the gift is that they all find they have grown a tentacle on their forehead. Now, listen, okay, I know, Drew, that you're an agent of Lovecraftian horror, the elder gods, and things like that. But I mean, do we have to add tentacles to everything? Let me think. No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think a moistened tentacle, an extra eyeball, an errant mouth where it shouldn't belong. Yeah, yeah. It's tied to a battery and thrown at them from the bleachers. That's violent. Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, Bars. Yeah, the day of rare twinkle lights. Yeah, ring of invisibility, but you have to clap 3 times to activate it. Oh, that's the fallen, and I can't get up. Clap on. So, um, Drew says, yes, tentacles are sexy, so tentacles go on everything. It's like, yeah, tentacles aren't just horror; they're a seasoning now. They've replaced bacon at the dinner table. It's like, oh, what is that? Salt, pepper? No, it's tentacle. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So the idea here, let's start very minor. So a real festival of gift giving could be a thing, and um, for your gaming world, and very much it could represent today's version of gift giving and gift exchanging, um, minus the religious associations with it if you're not that inclined to add that into your fantasy role playing. But gift giving could really be a thing, and the gifts do not need to be grand or something. We know that it's been documented that I believe it's like ravens or crows are so brilliant and so smart that they've flown out and given humans gifts that they've designed, basically taking like bottle caps and twigs and sticking them in and leaving them for people that have left food items and maybe probably string and that kind of thing for them to build nests and such. And so there could be rather animalistic animals that leave gifts, or monsters that are normally violent that give gifts to each other or to NPCs. And this very much could be a oh shit. Sorry. Oh man. Yeah. The shit lords is like tentacles equal cultural appropriation. Oh, slow clap on that one. The elder gods are like folding their arms and pissed off and just like, mm. I love that so much. There's some, yes. Oh, it pokes fun. I love it. That's what you're here for. That is your. I'm gonna make that your function there, shit lords. The poke the irony in right in the eye. I love it. Oh man. Oh, Shy Squad says, yeah, tentacles are sexy. I don't know how sexy. I mean, dry tentacles, moistened tentacles, long, extra long, like python length tentacles, or like the shorty ones with like the double sided tentacles where you got, I mean, double sided suction cups or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's like, is it starfishy or is it more like jellyfishy? Jay says you get gifted a special cream that to get rid of the tentacle that had sprouted from your last gift. Bunches of people show up and you're like, why are they? They're all mutated and strange and like walking backwards and all this kind of stuff. Hey, you literally have 2 left feet. And like, yeah, I've been living with this for a year. I'm hoping for a brand new set of shoes to get my feet back together again, which would be pretty hilarious for people who live like near some kind of like fey realm where the membranes are thin and the fey creatures have been messing with the people. And it's never anything completely violent, but like, an extra tentacle out of an armpit, an extra eyeball in the middle of the forehead. And the person just looks up and rolls their eyes like, really? For a year now? Really? And the fake creatures are like laughing, like, and then the human beings just roll their eyes like, here we go again. I don't even know why we stay in this small town. They're like, well, it's the resource we take from the woods. I'm like, oh, that's right. Des says, anytime you mess with anatomy, it's always some type of tentacles or rearrangement of body parts. It always seems to be moist. You know what? Side note, guys, moist sounds like what it is. Because you get with the M, the and you go, this sounds strange. And then you get in the oist, and the oist, it's like like a membrane or a sheen, and then you get with the last T, that moist, and the T just goes like, yeah, this is nasty. Moist sounds like what it is. Gaster, hey, what's up? Gaster Two Soul says, the gift of giving. A special box you find inside the lair of a long asleep frost troll. You looted off the body of an ancient warrior adorned in deep crimson armor. The gift of giving is like a deck of many things. Depending on what you'll roll, you could get something good, or you could open it and suddenly get a mimic. It's always random, and you may never know what it could be. I like that. I like the idea of like, maybe each person gets like a small box, or the players find a big box and they're like, okay, it's the day of strange gifts. Do we really want to open his chest today? And of course, you're going to the players like, hell no. Start throwing chains and straps around it and like, let's shut this damn thing closed. Yeah, you are not opening it on this day. One I hear that says, perhaps the point of a festival is to give gifts that seem unusable. Okay, a left shoe, an axe handle, a box of buttons. Yeah, not gross, but seemingly useless. The people then attempt to find ways to use them. And okay, you know what? All right. So one of the tenets of the OSR, what for good or bad, has always been player knowledge, not character knowledge, player knowledge. And the old school OSR puts a high value on creative uses of pretty mundane items. I remember adventuring back in my old Grognard days. we always went into dungeons with, of course, your typical 10-foot pole, but we had chicken. I mean, listen, this was in the equipment list. So we go in a dungeon with chickens, ball bearings, powder, nails, candles, um, of children's toys. I mean, it was. And listen, you talk about the number of chickens and canaries we went down in dungeons with. It was ridiculous. And you're like, well, why would you go down? And we pick up different things like feathers and stuff, and we put them on doorknobs and roll them down hallways and sprinkle dust under um cracks and crevices. And it was all player knowledge, useful base. And if I got a box of buttons, you sure as hell I'd be like, buttons, buttons, buttons. I'd be trying to convince trolls they're expensive. We'd be sticking buttons under doors and flicking them under doors. We'd be playing table games with them in game. It'd be a fun thing, and I love the idea of like an axe handle. There's no axe. There's no metal axe to it. It's just an old axe handle, and finding, the minute you find something useful with it, it becomes cool. And there could be some strange social interactions where like everyone else knows you've gotten this useless item, but you are given like social, some social status, some social clout for walking around and using this thing that is kind of useless, but you're using it anyway. And people give you maybe like a rite of passage, or they come up and talk to you because you're wearing like a hat that's got a hole at the top of it, or I don't know, 6 pairs of socks, and you put all 6 pairs of socks on and walking around with them or something like that. And of course, none of them match. It just says, this doesn't have to be moist. You could be gifted a toenail of Griffin talent strength. Toenail. That's actually kind of cool, though. Although a sack of I don't know, ogre toenails would be pretty nasty. like who got those toenails, and how'd they leave the ogre in the first place? They got toenail clippers? One I hear this is there would be a festival of magical prank gifts. Yeah, the fun would be not knowing what's pranked, but not knowing what's pranked and how it's pranked. Yeah, like for example, you open up a box and think it's just, oh, it's I don't know, it's just a plain rock, and everyone starts laughing, and you're like, why is everyone laughing? And then you come to find out, I don't know, some glowing neon sign is on your back, but you can't see it, but you're holding the rock, and everyone's laughing at you, and you're like, why is everyone laughing? I'm just holding this rock. But it's really I don't know, like a kick me sign or something. Yeah, the End King says the Faith recently learned about our winter gift giving holiday. They wanted to join in, but the gifts they give are like the gifts they give are that would be very funny, because this gift giving thing doesn't actually have to be a plot. It could just be it's a random thing that happens in your world that people expect or don't expect, or the gift giving is a real thing, and the fey creatures just don't understand the purpose of it. So it could. Here's a really strange investigation. The players need to stop the fey creatures. They're not harming anyone, but they are disrupting life. And the players need to come up with gifts, appropriate gifts to give to the fey creatures to show them this is what it means. That would, especially if you have a bunch of murder hobos, they would never go for it if you have players that are like that. But it would be pretty funny. What gift do you give to a chaotic fey creature that doesn't understand what it means? Shit lords hooked on moist phonics. Oh shit, yeah. The word moist is sometimes apomorphia. I don't know what that means, and don't make me look it up. I'm going to guess it. It means it's is it something that sounds like and is very descriptive of what it is? Maybe I don't know. Maybe like like there's a store on the East Coast that I grew up with called Wawa, 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 and their logo are flying geese, and that was the name given to the stores because it was named after the sounds that geese make from indigenous peoples. And the store's called Wawa, and everyone calls it Wawa. You do it just a little bit better. Wah, wah. Gasper Two Soul says, since we're doing some Christmas-esque things, I will be presenting plenty of free-to-use Christmas-themed things. Okay. Now, now, mind you, I specifically didn't reference Christmas on purpose. Have nothing against Christmas, but gift giving doesn't need to be like in wintertime during this, like that doesn't necessarily mean it leads to the other. And you could disrupt the tropish thoughts we always have that gift giving could be in middle of spring or deep in summer or something like that. And the gift giving doesn't necessarily need to be like wrapped up with a bow, although you could do that. It could be everyone gathering in a city square and there's a bunch of gifts and everyone has to run in and grab one. Or again, it doesn't have to be one big beard individual walking around, big bearded Nordic individual. It could be, like you said, fey creatures or something of that nature. Heck, just going up to an idol in the middle of the town or something and beseeching it for a gift, and then all of a sudden the idol's hands are closed and it opens up their hands and there's one single gift in it, and then the statue closes his hands again for the next person to walk up, opens up his hands, something like that. You could disrupt the what's expected. Chickens, yeah, leave a trail. Yeah, oh yeah, we used to use chickens. Yeah, you could buy, it was something like, I swear it was something like 2 silver per chicken or something. It was something dumb like that. And you could walk into the dungeon with chickens. We'd walk in there with chickens and kick them down hallways. It was, sorry, chickens. But we did a lot of things with chicken. But believe you me, they were like crushed, poisoned, fell in pits, all kinds of stuff. And then it just became a joke where, like, because we used so many chickens, there were just a bunches of chickens running around dungeons. And we were like, wonder if like a 3rd level chicken's like surviving in a dungeon somewhere or something like that. Yeah, leave a trail with the buttons. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Leave a trail with the buttons, because if the buttons disappear, they get moved. You're like, oh, there's something following us. Yeah, birds in the dungeon make a lot of sense. Yeah. Canaries. I don't know how true to life this was, but we know that canaries were sensitive to environmental disruptions, whether it was lack of air, poisonous gases, animals being sensitive to danger that humans were not. And so, yeah, that was the purpose of that. Yep, axe handle is firewood or magic staff if you can make it. Wouldn't it be interesting if the axe handle operates the way it only operates the way you're using it, so that it becomes magically what it needs to be for that moment. So if you take the axe handle and start trying to chop wood with it, it starts chopping wood, but there's actually no blade on it. It just starts chopping wood. Or then you use the handle to, like, I don't know, you use it to stir soup or something like that. I don't know. Bard can turn the axe handle into a flute. Yep. Turning into something else. And or maybe try to get the match. Every gift is broken in 2 pieces, and you got to find the other person to get them to match up the gift together, and then figure out who gets to keep the gift. Like, someone's like, I got an axe head, but I mean, I've been chopping onions with it, but I don't know what else to do with it. And then you find that person. Birdcage Gala. Made from all the discarded bird cages by past adventurers. Hells yes. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh man. Shitlord says the day of D&D PETA go. Yes, going after you for bringing chickens in dungeons, and now they've got a super arch enemy. Not too far off. That would be hilarious. Oh man, a big mega chicken. And PETA's like, you killed the chickens in the dungeon. And Druid's all pissed off and stuff. Yeah. Oh, they would be pissed off at us as players. We ate chickens. We messed with chickens. We hypnotized chickens. We dangled chickens. It was just dumb. That, and now for some reason we used goats, but not a lot of goats, because they were in the equipment list too. But for some reason, I always felt like goats would have been a better thing, but we just never wanted to use goats. I don't know. Maybe they seem friendly or something. Wait, is there a sack of toenails that wouldn't be nasty? Maybe heathen. Yeah, like, whoo, it's been 30 years. I finally found a sack of toenails that are not nasty. They taste like strawberries. I don't know. Hell, troll toenails would probably still be moving or something. I don't know. Drew says, for me, all those utility items feel like I am playing one of those old adventure video games. Use chicken with microwave. Yeah, yeah. Remember, yeah, the old adventure games where you'd get a random object or find it, and you're like, I don't know what this is for, and then you would match it up with something else as you're adventuring, and you're like, oh, I have chicken. There is microwave. I know you're being silly, but yes, it does remind you. It reminds me of that as well. But yeah, in OSR, that is a thing. That is like you'd walk in the adventure not with magic items or extra level abilities. Your character was what you had, was external. So clerics, fighters, and all that stuff, 99% of the character classes did not have very much until you started flowing out of AD&D into like second edition. Prior to that, you didn't get many capabilities. Your character didn't change. You got extra levels, but it really didn't really matter that much. So you were what you carried. And I loved playing fighters and rogues that carried a lot of this like random crap around with us, and it was fun. It was just really fun. Says, real well in the show, real monsters' toenails are currency among monsters. That's nasty. Yeah, griffin claw toenails wouldn't necessarily be that nasty. I agree with you on that. It would be like, it's like finding like if you guys have cats, they'll lose their toenails and stuff. But if you get a big monster, we call it a toenail. The rest of us, we call it like a claw or talon. So technically, a shark's tooth or something like that, it's not that horrible. Oh man. Gaster says, the one who takes, okay. Many whispers of him in hushed tones. Some tremble at his name. Children hide at the sound of his hooves clicking against the roofs, smelling the air for ill deeds to be reaped. You are all hired to protect the spoiled brat of a nobleman's child from a long ancient being who stalks the night on the day of frost, the one who takes, the one who punishes, the one who maims. I love that. And I like that idea better than like Krampus, whatever it is. This entity gives and takes, and maybe this entity takes from others. So all the gifts belong to everybody. Every gift given was taken from someone else. And maybe, depending on how horrible you are, they even come and take your most prized possession, like a bratty ass kid, right? Oh man. Or there's a silly movie. I have not seen the movie. There's a silly Christmas movie where a kid is given coal for Christmas, and he grows up wanting to exact revenge on Santa Claus, because he just like falls into the snow with the coal in his hands, and he's like, damn you, up in the sky, as it's like he hears the jingle bells and the hooves and stuff going away, and he's like, I'm gonna grow up to take you out there. Yeah. Oh man. I think it's a Mel Gibson movie, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Heathen says, maybe the day is, a day of challenges where people request a gift and someone attempts to give them a gift, but not in the way they expected. $1,000,000 becomes a million male deer. $1,000,000. I love. Yeah. I love. What is it's sometimes known as the gift of the Magi. I was actually going to put that as a title, gift of the Magi. It's like the gift that you request it. There's something you desire, but in the interim of your desire, you get what you asked for. Now, the gift of the Magi is a little. It's actually far nicer than we think it is. But a gift of the magi is like you receive a gift and then you find out that you actually don't need the gift, or uh it came a little bit too late. Because if I remember correctly, in the gift of the magi, there's a gentleman that knows like his wife has beautiful golden hair, and he needs the money to buy a golden comb for her hair, and she knows that he wants something. It was something weird or something, and then so she cuts her hair, and it's like gold, and she sells her hair to get something for him. So she ends up with a comb, but she's bald, and he ends up with a gift. It's something like, I'm not going to look it up. I would, but I'm not. Um, O'Shea says, apomorphia, a white crystalline alkaloid derived from morphine that is used medicinally as an anemic an emetic, excuse me, as an expectorant and in Parkinson's disease. I did not know that. Apomorphia. Hmm. Kazza says, fair enough, but I still have some awesome ideas. Oh, you always have awesome ideas. It's been a little while, but we've been here. We've been waiting for you. The Ant King says, I have nothing against Christmas, he says, as his tree aggressively yells at us in Morse code. Yes. The tree is like, save me. He's forcing me to be in this holiday. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm saying for others. Myself, I love the gift giving season, but because there's something I hate the stress of holidays, but I do like the challenge of trying to discover what it is somebody else wants or needs, and then filling that need. Because there's, you know, nowadays we default to like the gift card, right? And how in I'm old enough to remember where gift cards were never a thing. So myself and my wife, we are not gift card givers. But yeah. Heathen says birdcage golem is genius. I wonder if you could make a cage golem. Like there's a cage golem that walks around who's hollow on the inside, a cage, and starts trying to grab people and throw people into itself and lock it away, and then it walks around and comes back to whoever owns the golem. I think that's a great idea. The Fiend Folio had a golem that was like a not a ooze, but it was like a glue kind of thing. But a cage golem sounds pretty cool. Have a humorous Christmas themed one shot where the elf is dragged off to make toys. The bard is forced to play holiday music for customers at a shop. Basically, creatively satire the season. I like that idea. Yeah, the elf gets carted off to make toys. I'm a high elf. Someone throws some tights at him in a hat and like, get to work. The elf is like, what the hell? Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, the rangers given a shovel to scoop out the reindeer pens. Oh man, the mage is like, okay, so the big man's gotta hide. You have to cast spells to keep the big man hidden. It's like, I don't have invisibility spell. Slams his chest with a book. Learn it. Yeah. An Iggy Pop lyric just came to mind. Quote, that's like hypnotizing chickens. I didn't even know that was a thing. Ethan says, ooh, I love the idea of matching the pieces of a gift. Now that would be pretty. I like the idea of like, okay, you get this, the axe handle idea, right? Like you've been given buttons. Now you walk around finding people who's missing a button, and you go through your little box of buttons to give them the correct button that matches their jacket or something like that. And they're just like, I was wondering, hey, thank you. And then that individual could give them some piece of knowledge for, to go murder, kill the dragon or something, right? But yeah, it would be pretty interesting to have like an unfinished object. Like I have a unbound, I have a book, but there's no pages in it. I just have the cover of the book and the spine, but there's no paper. And then you start walking around, and there's people who have like random pieces of parchment. and you look at them and they look at you and they walk over to you and you open up the empty book and they take the piece of parchment and line it up into the binding and it just happens to get in the lining and the person's like, hey, that works, and then you have to put the pages in order and stuff. I mean, you could have silly things like that. I like that idea. Gaster. Okay. Hendrik the Bear, a random gift given to you after finishing a quest. It's an old and worn stuffed bear. On its paw is written in common, to love is to heal. Whenever you are to hug or comfort yourself, you regain, whenever you use it to hug or comfort yourself, you regain 1d6 lost HP. I like that. I like that idea. Because the second Deadpool movie, the character Cable was introduced, and he has a stuffed animal. He's this badass guy with a cyber arm and heavy weapons, and he's got a teddy bear attached to his hip. And it's like, why has he got a teddy bear attached to his hip? And it's in remembrance of a lost child and stuff like that, and the mutant wars and all. But the whole point, that would be pretty interesting. The players like, why is the barbarian always carrying around the teddy bear? Like, shh. Don't even ask. And at the end of the fight, the barbarian's rocking back and forth, hugging his teddy bear, like, oh, you're so nice to me. Oh, you're so nice. I love it. It makes sense, though. It actually, it would, in a non-comedic way, it could represent something from a character's past. Maybe they lost it. The proverbial murder hobo, right? Their whole village was killed and destroyed. They have no home. They're wandering the land, and someone gives them this stuffed animal, and they remember growing up with the stuffed animal. Like, where did you get this from? And it doesn't heal anybody else, only them. So I like that as a trinket or something. I like that a lot. If any more words come out of that cunt mouth, I'll eat every chicken in here. Sandor Clegane here from Game of Thrones. Yeah, Sandor. He had some great lines. The guy who supposedly wasn't an actor, he delivered some pretty cool lines, right? Of dialogue. Pretty funny. Yeah, and very much saw the world as it was, not as it should be. Yeah, the child unit here collects cat claws she finds around. So silly. How about 100 pounds of bat guano? Gift of fireball spells. Hilarious. I want to see that Christmas movie. Never saw it before. Don't make me do it. Okay. Mel Gibson Christmas. Is it Fat Man? Maybe that's not, no, because Fat Man is to save his declining business, Kris Kringle, also known as Santa Claus, is forced into a partnership with the military. Oh, that is it. It's called Fat Man. Making matters worse, Chris gets locked into a deadly battle of wits against a highly skilled assassin hired by a precocious 12-year-old after receiving a lump of coal in his stocking. Ridiculous. Oh, the husband wants a pocket watch chain. Yes, and the husband gave away the pocket watch. The husband needed a chain for his pocket watch, gave away the pocket watch to buy the comb for his wife. The wife sells her hair or cuts her hair and braids it into a chain for his watch. So he gets a chain with nothing to attach for it. She gets a comb with nothing to comb with it. That's the story. Okay. Yes, the gift of the Magi. Yep, the gift of Parkinson's medication. Okay, the blizzard of gifts. Depending on if you either mess up on a really powerful weather-based spell or cast some form of wild magic, it's now snowing. Not with snow, however, it's snowing gifts. Pray that you didn't wish for an anvil. Snowing gifts. Now, okay, you could be very nice and they could float from the sky in little tiny little parchment parachutes or something, silken scarves as they slowly float down and fall into someone's hands. But again, if it's not just reserved for the player characters, many of your NPCs could become adversaries and or even enemies based on the kind of gifts that they get as well. Especially if for them they get a great gift, and for everyone else it's like horrible. Like doing a twist on the gift of the Magi, someone could be like, "I wish I was the most beautiful person in the world," and they become a troll, a Medusa, or something, and in their mind's eye, they are the most beautiful person, but to everybody else, they're absolutely horrible and cruel and horrible to look at. Something like that. Like someone's like, I wish I had all the money in the world, and suddenly from the sky, coins start pouring down on top of this person's house, and they think they're rich, but the coins never stop, and then they crush the house, and then their loved ones are inside. They have to pull themselves out of the coins that keep falling from the sky, and then the mounds of coins start growing so big that it starts like a coinish type flood, but people are coming around trying to collect the coins, but then people get their ankles stuck in it and they break their ankle, and then they get crushed underneath the coins that keep pouring for 24 hours. And then, I don't know, a couple 100,000 tons later, the city wiped out from all the gold, coal and copper and silver that spilled down the hill, and I don't know, crush the mill and push people out of their homes. Yeah. For some reason, I'm imagining a horrible Christmas tree that spins around at a high rate of speed, flinging ornaments. Hey, listen, don't a cri- a treant animated bush. What's the other? Come on, give me some of those animated plant creatures that have gifts with ornaments on them, and they come alive. I love that idea. Maybe ornaments are the equivalent of rings and medallions and pendants and things that player characters get as magic items. It's like, oh no, we have our own magical industry. Once once a year, we get to put the ornaments on us, and we become badasses. I've got my ornament of protection, and my ornament of spell storing, and my ornament of invisibility, and my ornament of oh no, you guys can only wear one ring at a time. We've got like hundreds of branches, and we can use them all at the same time. The End King says, a strange gift. An Iron Maiden suddenly in your living room, wrapped in ribbon. Wonder what or who is inside. Oh shit, you have to get inside of it to activate it. Oh, nasty. I'm with you, Heathen. Says, I freaking love this show because everyone has such great ideas. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Winata says, good morning. How are we this morning? Well, we are good. Glad you could join us. We are talking about the Day of Strange Gifts. And mind you, you're going to have to go back a little bit, but we are discussing on this Day of Strange Gifts what kinds of gifts are given, how are they given to people, and for what reason are they given, and make that about the story. I mean, how interesting would it be for players to receive very strange, innocuous things? The small box of buttons, the axe handle, and then they go into a dungeon and come to find out that the useless items they got are actually important in the adventure as they go ahead. The character with the axe handle who thinks it's useless throws it away and then goes into the dungeon and ends up finding the actual axe head, but knowing that there's something magical about it, but it's never revealed until it's actually combined with the axe handle in the first place. That's a very simple one. But another one could be using those buttons to, maybe there was a great warrior who was adorned, skeletal and whatnot, and then someone basically literally attaches a missing button on their uniform, and then that skeletal thing arises, comes along, starts speaking in rhymes or something like that, and activates. So that could be very good as well. And of course, glad you could join us from Brazil, I believe it is. I got to do a shout out from you guys around the world. So anyway, the Eternal Yule. Okay, all right. I love some Yule, some Yule Tide. Anyway, a rare piece of magic, the Eternal Yule, is only found if a person were to loot a pile of wood and roll an 18 or higher with no modifiers. The log of Yule is able to be lit on fire with a simple snap of the fingers and never burns to ash. See, stuff like that is cool. Like, for example, there was a magic item called the ever burning torch or something like that. Yeah, literally a Yule log. Now, my version of a Yule log is it's like a cake. It's basically a very thin layer of cake, and then there's a very thick layer of icing, and it's rolled up into what I call a Yule log, and then you cut slices of the spiral of the roll, Yule log roll. Anyway, I love that stuff. Oh man. The End King says Father Winter will be confused when he sees an artificer on his nice list, but still gifts them with coal, a valuable resource. Yeah. Maybe the players, Father Winter, a Santa Claus figure, elves making gifts, could very much be in your fantasy world. Maybe not so much the silly comedic version of them, but they could be maybe the players have to convince Father Winter to move somewhere else, or this winter, the anthropomorphized winter being that's blowing winter in a blizzard and such. Maybe the player characters can't really fight winter, but Father Winter, but they can help people by bringing them inside and lighting a fire for a hearth or whatever, and maybe finding these little small gifts and giving them to people, will allow them to survive through the winter or whatnot. I don't know, something like that. So Wanada says a box of toy soldiers, which during a specific night of the year come to life and grow to the size of a human being and begin to attack the local village. Well, that got dark. that went dark a little bit, but yeah, those gifts from last year, because you didn't give those gifts from you didn't re-gift the gift from last year to give to somebody else. It becomes so okay. Here's the gift that turns evil. From last year, you got a small box of toy soldiers, and you could pull one or more out. And if you pull, let's say there's a dozen of them, you pull a soldier out, it grows to life size and becomes a loyal soldier for your use, and you could put the soldier back in the box, right? Okay, no big deal. But at the end of the year, you must give that gift away. So, because if you don't, the gift turns against you. That would be pretty interesting. So the PCs receive gifts and they go, oh, thanks, thinking they're going to stick it in their pocket and not worry about it. But maybe it turns against them if they don't happen to, the gift they're given isn't used for somebody else's purpose, which that sounds a little bit strange, but different, but cool too. You can never use a gift for yourself. You can only use the gift for someone else, right? Like the bowl and spoon of gruel. You can never get the bowl and start spooning food into your mouth and it magically appears. You must always give it to someone else to let someone else feed. That's a bit of a different gift giving idea, which would also make it seem a bit weird if somebody tries to steal it and you go, hey, asshole, you can't use it. You have right? Great, you stole it, but what do now you got to give it to somebody else to let them use it. Yeah, Jack Frost. Yep. Anthropomorphized winter being. You see Jack Frost. Yep. Now, mind you, this is fantasy. We can add faces and personality to damn near everything. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out. Like, pick any elemental. You can make an elemental shaped any way you want. You don't have to change a stat, but do you give your earth elemental a humanoid face that can talk like a treant, right? We were shown ents or treants in Lord of the Rings. They had faces, they could talk, they had personality. Just because it's wintertime doesn't mean there isn't an arcane source to it, or it could just be regular old winter. But one or more fey creatures that are winterized, winter adapted could be a thing as well. So Gaster says the eternal cabin. All right, okay. After completing a major quest for either a kingdom or for a wealthy person, you have been given the deed to an old, beaten up cabin in the middle of the woods. I forgot because I meant to say MacGuffins. MacGuffins tend to be persons, places, or things. So we're talking about things, but a person, horrible way to say this, could be gifted to someone. This person shows up at an encampment with the players and they're like, I'm going to serve you for a year and a day. And the PC is like, I don't even know you. They're like, oh no, we'll be friends, but I will serve you for a year and a day. I'm thinking of Blue Eye Samurai. Anyway, going on to say, you have a deed to an old, beaten up cabin in the middle of the woods. However, when you go inside, it turns out to be more than it seems, with special rooms and corridors that never end. Take care, though, while the creaking could be the cabin settling or something else lurking in the night. Just that simple, a player character that owns their own dungeon. That's a really cool idea. I really like that, especially if it's a small wooden cabin on the outside with, smoke coming out of a small chimney. Looks like a one-room cabin, but then you get on the inside and it's got like rooms and closets and a basement and rafters. And then if you go inside these other rooms, it's even bigger and stuff. That's a great gift to give to a player, because here's the thing. If the cabin can't move, then and they clear the dungeon, it would be a great base of operations for them. But again, they'd have to travel out and then come back, travel and come back. Yeah. Unless they turtle up and never leave, but whatever. Yeah, one Heathen says, yes, love this. Nutcrackers attacking on behalf of the Winter King. You've all been very naughty. You could, this is pretty horrible, but you could turn all the Christmas stuff into evil things. Like over my shoulder, the Christmas tree turns into like a 30-foot tree that's lobbing razor sharp ornaments at people and stuff like that. The toy elves each are basically evil fey creatures, but the toys themselves are like objects they throw at people that also become dangerous things. Like the fey creature has a box of farm animals and throws the farm animals down, but the cow grows horns like a bull, but you use like minotaur stats, and it starts to charge people. Throws the chickens down, but the chickens are all blood hawks or something like that, attacking people, rending their flesh from their bodies. Like, all the stuff could be pretty nasty. Yeah, exploding bulb grenades. Hell yeah. Hells yeah. Yeah. Ian Rice says, so I guess no one puts their settings in southern hemispheres. I love summer Christmas in Australia. Yeah, sorry. We are above the equator, so it's kind of like opposite for us. So you are correct there, Ian. You are so correct. That unfortunately there is a assumption of a thing that isn't a thing. But I didn't say that the season of strange, the day of strange gifts, has to happen at a particular time. Australia's summer could be technically it's winter, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be now, but of course we're just near the holidays, so that's why I thought it would be a great idea. But it also would be very strange for like the players receive a gift from like an important NPC, and the PCs are like, why did you give me this? It's a box of buttons. What does this mean? But later on, they find out that it's pretty damn important. Or maybe the gifts that they receive have zero value except to one entity in that world. That because somehow that axe handle is important to a lumberjack that's out in the woods, and it's like, they see the axe handle and they break down and start crying, and the PCs are like, what happened? What just happened? And then the lumberjack is like, this belonged to my younger brother that was lost to the monsters in the wood or something. And the PCs go, oh, We got these gifts because the gifts give us a connection with someone else because of some other event completely unrelated to what we're doing in the adventure. Yep. Exploding bulb grenades, golems. Yep. The Yen King says adventurers buying places to store their well-earned loot and wealth, and then that becoming a dungeon over time. That just makes sense. Circle of life. Yeah. Every dungeon was were old adventurers hoarding all their crap. Yeah. I love it. The circle of life. Is that an owl? Who? Who? It did show up. Wow. Okay. Gaster says, the laughing flame. Okay. An aloof entity, a trickster, a player of games. The laughing flame appears to those who dare wish to play, for he shall gawk and chuckle and cluck away as you dare play whatever bet he may say. He will offer many gifts, but always remain aware. Not all of his games may seem always fair. Look at you with the rhyme schemes. Yeah. Don't make me break out some hip hop rhyme schemes. But yeah, that, we attribute Jack Frost as one of the assumed Fey type of creatures during this season, but we could have many of them. A Fey hearth type entity could be a flame, not dangerous, but maybe a little jokester that can appear in any home that lights a hearth. It can appear in, magically teleporting place to place to place. Little methods may be very common during this time. When frost appears on windows, it's the telltale evidence of a frost method hanging outside, blowing on the windows to get frost or something. And a Yule cat. Funny. Oh man. Timothy Reynolds says, yeah, listening while I paint minis and have coffee. Oh, don't drink the paint and paint with the coffee. Don't do that. Yeah, shopping cart full of gifts. Player characters with an old stolen shopping cart. That just looks funny because you're going to have somebody get inside the shopping cart and then roll downhill. You know that. Paladin hanging on the back of the shopping cart, rolling down a hill out of control. A gift of breadcrumbs and oil for the dungeon chickens. The orcs are like, we've been trying to figure out how to eat the chickens and they just don't taste good. PCs are like, here we got some olive oil and breadcrumbs, got some seasonings, and they're like, yes. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I thought we would just have some fun with this idea. And mind you, the Day of series, we've done some horrible Lovecraftian things, but we do like to have some fun and play some jokes and just alleviate ourselves. And hell, even using this day of the strange gift giving and the season and whatnot, maybe if you've been playing with the same people for a long time, having games. I used to be one of the people that hated games themed around holidays, Christmas, New Year's, Halloween, and so on and so forth, right? And I used to hate it. I was like, roll eyes, Halloween game. But to be honest with you, oh, thanks, Heathen. It's in, how cold is it? Saying, what is it, like 28 degrees Fahrenheit here? What is that Celsius? Will it even show up? I don't have the Celsius, but it's pretty cold, below freezing for us here. Gaster says, honestly, I might use many of these ideas in my honest opinion. Yeah. Go ahead, steal them. And here's the other thing too. This Day of series could mark the passage of time. So if you play with the same people, or and when I say same people year after year, having the same adventures and same games year after year, playing the same characters, or you want to mark the passage of time, especially through seasons, using the Day of could just be a way to let your players go, oh, it is the third year our characters have been out in the wilderness, or wow, our characters are 10 years old. It's been 10 years of us our characters adventuring, even though we've only been playing the game for 5 months, right? It could be gaps of years of time, and this could just be all right, guys, when we come back, it'll be winter season when our characters gather back together to stop the big bad evil guy. And during the season, our characters are traveling from location to location, and it just so happens there are also festivities, and these things may happen. So, yeah, is it Cameron F says, thanks for the last. I have a good one, y'all. Hey, Cam, hey, just popped in there, Cam. Thank you very much. And Heathen says, another great show. Thanks for another broadcast. Good night. You have a great one there, our local Odin. We really appreciate it. Gasper Two Soul says, the mug of mulled wine. Okay. A rare gift. Yeah, last one for the road. All right, okay. A drink. A mug of mulled wine, a rare gift given away. A beautiful sterling silver mug that after drinking the hot liquid that manifests from inside. A perfect way to heal yourself with 1d10 hit points. And here's the thing that thank you. First of all, thank you very, very much there, Two Soul. But before we end the show, sometimes the simplest things, simplest bit of flavor brings us the greatest stories. Who made this cup? Where did it come from? Why was it given away or lost? What do you have to do? Like, do you hold this empty cup in your hands, close your eyes, and blow across the top? And suddenly, when you blow across the top, steam blows away from it, and it's a cup of hot chocolate that you drink down, right? And the cup represents this winter season that if you were to take this into the deep desert, everyone's like, why would I want to drink a cup of hot chocolate? It's burning here, but how cool would it be to have it just dangling off the hip of your character? Pathfinder, in the Pathfinder art, Dwayne, I was going to say Dwayne McGuffey. That's not the person's name. The artist that was most notorious for shaping the images of first edition Pathfinder had iconic characters adventuring. One of them was a fighter, and on his hip was a mug. And it's like, that's just different. It's not a potion of healing. It's a mug. And I like that stuff. Yeah. Time to get some weird stuff from my parents now. Timothy says, laugh out loud. I have the opposite experience at my table. Playing together for 4 years and basically 3 months of actual game time has passed. Yeah, the opposite. The malleability of time, playing with the same people that long, but the time it's only been 3 months. Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. You're so right. I forgot that time does work strangely in our games. That's very fun because maybe every session, I can imagine, TMR, that your gaming sessions, a 4-hour gaming session for you is only about a half hour of time, a day, maybe a whole day. And then you guys separate and then come back again and play again. And it's just another 24-hour period, even though it's been a couple of months that you got back together again. Yeah, that's a real thing. Yeah. Janata says, it's funny about seasons. Here in Brazil, we joke that we only have 2 seasons, rainy and hot. Yeah. Here in the States, I'm in the Ohio Valley, and honestly, we do get 4 complete real seasons. So we get, like, right now we're in our winter season, and we get freezing temperatures, rain, hail, snow, wind, frozen, we get all of that. And then when spring comes, we get overgrowth and deer and a bit of spring showers and stuff. Like, we get actually 4 full seasons here in the Ohio Valley. It's it's not incredible. It's a little strange because we also get burning temperatures. I mean, hot temperatures enough to kill people is what I'm saying. Like, hot, humid, all that stuff. But we also get freezing temperatures that can kill people too. So yeah, the Midwest, yes. Yeah, for those who do not live in the States, for those of you out across the pond and down to the south of us and whatnot, in the baseball cap United States up in Canada, sorry, just joking. For those who don't know, most people consider the big 4, right? Chicago up north, New York City and the East Coast to the east, California to the west, Florida, maybe a little bit of Texas to the south, but no one considers the Midwest. The Midwest has everything in it. Flyover country, it's crazy weather. Crazy. Yeah, mug for drinking from the dungeon fountain. Yeah, it's Wayne Reynolds. Well, I guess you would know that, Mr. Reynolds, that it is a Wayne Reynolds, right? But yes, it was Wayne Reynolds, the artist, that shaped the visual language of first edition Pathfinder. I haven't seen much art from second edition, but yeah, there was a fighter in there, and if you take a look at the artwork, you're like, is that a mug attached to his hip? And yeah, it is. It's a mug. Yeah, we got hit with a snowstorm in the middle of April one time. Yeah, yeah. We Ohio, we're always at the end of Tornado Alley, so we still have tornado sirens. But most of the time, if we don't get the tail end of tornadoes, we get a thing called derechos. They're like these crescent-shaped wind shears, and you can literally see them on the horizon, and then the winds come by 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds in one direction, like a scythe that blows by. We have to get our roof, our siding and roof has damage because of a derecho that happened a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. We still haven't got it fixed. We're whatever, insurance, people fixing it, a whole big 9 yards. Yeah, we still have to get it fixed, but yeah. So snapping turtles, cottonmouths, deadly nightshade, interesting mushrooms, Luna moths, snowstorms in April. Yeah. Strange things. Is that a German thing? Cottonmouths. Snakes? Crazy. Gaster says, thankfully, I live near one of the Great Lakes, so the tornadoes get sucked right into the lake. Oh, cool. Now, luckily, I'm in central Ohio, because if I lived a little bit further north, I'd get lake effect snow, and lake effect snow is horrible. You know that, Gaster. Lake effect snow is terrible. Yeah. Wanada is mentioning about just it's either raining or it's hot. Yeah, we don't have that here. Or well, Florida. I mean, southern parts of the United States get that, but yeah. Shay says, dude, I'm talking about Ohio. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say it sounds familiar, but yeah, mushrooms, Luna moths, snowstorms in April. You're right. You're right. I like snapping turtles. Says I thought here of a cooking book, but all the items are monsters and creatures found in dungeons. I stole this idea from an anime that will debut. There's eating monsters is a real thing. There's something called the monster. See if I can find it. Monster menu all Scavenger's cookbook. Yeah. Monster menu all the monsters monster is cookbook. Let's share this out here. Do before we get out of here, just so people can see. Yep. Monster menu, the Scavenger's cookbook. Cottonmouths, the main kind of poisonous snakes here. Yeah, cottonmouths. I was like, snakes. Ooh, they're horrible. Horrible. Wet, cold, and dry are different. While they're both cold, there is a difference. Yeah. Now, dry cold cracks the skin. Wet cold, oh man, oh my goodness. When you get that cold wet that goes down your back, your spine, or you get wet socks, it's horrible. And I work outside, so yeah, I wear waterproof socks inside of my waterproof boots because of that fact. And then unfortunately what happens is your body sweats. So if your feet begin to sweat, it's kind of like it's icky, because if they're warm and wet, it feels like you're walking around in warm, moist wetness while you're out in the cold. But if your body heat heat from your heart lowers, then that cold turns to a cold moistness. It's horrible. Gaster Two Soul said, I had a player who played an assassin who had this teapot. The teapot had two compartments, okay? One was full of tea, the other was full of poison. And simply with a small dex check, a seamless shift on the drink's contents. That is a sweet magic item. I like that. I like that so much because it's a non-combat social item that very quickly could switch between pour tea, pour poison, pour tea, pour some more poison, pour tea. I'm done. Click, put it down. Everyone drink up. That's an excellent item. I love that. That is cool. I really like because look, listen, we should before because I know I'm running late. This is a gift that we should give to our players. And I feel like sometimes, and yes, the Assassin's Teapot is a real world thing. I thought it was. I'm gonna look it up. Uh, Assassin's Teapot diagram. Share this tab instead. There we go. Assassin's Teapot diagram. And it looks like let's do this one. This image here. Oh, and there's a little video of it. So he's pouring the blue liquid and then begins pouring. Oh, because the blue, the poured out and their fingers pressing down on something. Oh, it's pressing down on an air pocket to allow the air to flow in, and then is it pouring, mixing both. Wow. Oh, so on the bottom, the first one is blocking air, and the air doesn't allow the fluid to flow out, and using the thumb to stop the air, and then I see. Okay, yeah, yes, that's awesome. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I've never seen it used. Yeah, Gaster, which is why it was a dex check. Yep. The Tea Poisoner. What was that movie? Drew says, sure, poisoning people. Really, Drew? Drew is like, sure, poisoning people is a social interaction. You know what I'm talking about. It means you can't, what are you going to do? Pour someone a drink in the middle of combat? You know what I mean. But I think I know what you mean. Please don't buy this object. Yeah, which is why it was a dex check. Yes, you have to hide the fact that and position your finger over the air, over the air gap to ensure that the other fluid you don't want to come out does not exit and stuff like that. You can also use the eternal wool in a combative situation. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Probably tomorrow or the next day, we'll talk about New Year's and some other things, things of that nature. But yeah, we're going to have some fun. Thank you very much for allowing me to express myself, and you guys coming here and expressing your ideas and things. Guys, please come back for the day of series. And if you have ideas for any reason for a day of, please drop them into the comments. Even if it's sarcasm, even if it's funny. I saw some comments the other day or past couple of days, you guys being funny. But listen, comedy is truth plus time. So we do have some great ideas. So guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Please let me know, or if I'm butchering your name there, Sadre, please let me know if I'm butchering your name, because I have a lazy stateside tongue. So, but I love words and names and phrases and things. And also, for those of you that do not live in the United States and you have an English version of a role-playing game you think is really embodies where you live, the culture you're from. Ancient, modern, doesn't matter. If you're from Brazil, Germany, France, Australia, whatever, and there's a role playing game that kind of like embodies those cultures, I would love to know because I'm like a purveyor of these things. I'd like to find out some of these games that are n- not stateside specific, right? I like that up. Stand up philosophy, so silly. Happy solstice, happy new year. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Everyone's taking us out on the show. Gotta love it. Yeah. All right, guys, have a great one. I will see thee tomorrow. Peace and tranquility. Oh, and I can't forget this. Your time is very valuable, so I appreciate you guys spending it here. But I hope as you spend it here, I can give you change back in your tabletop role playing experiences. Guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Peace.